Hi everyone, it's Becky here. So welcome to the third day of my second trip to Vancouver Island this summer. This morning we're planning to go to Tofino. However, the highway was closed due to heavy rain and the danger of falling rocks on the highway. So we had to come down and change our day plans. So here we are at Spider Lake Provincial Park. It's a beautiful morning, despite that our wish wasn't granted. Here we are with Dudu by the lake. The reflections are so beautiful. So here I am trying to stay happy and positive despite that we're not able to go to Tofino today and probably this summer. And here Dudu is finding a frog. Oh, please don't touch him, Dudu. Here's the cute little frog. This park is super quiet this morning without anybody. It's just us and Dudu. And after about an hour, we went back to Qualicum Beach town center again. And these are the beautiful paintings on seashells. And I decided to sketch this the old schoolhouse arts center from the other side of the street. The weather wasn't so ideal, but hopefully it's gonna get better. So I did a very quick 3-minute pencil sketch because I'm feeling a little tired and frustrated because we couldn't go to Tofino. Okay. And after this super quick and preliminary pencil layout without too much details, I'm ready to dig in. Drawing with my fine liner pen. I'm using my Winsor and Newton 0.8 tip fine liner pen. I started with that triangular rooftop just on the second floor above the main entrance, and the flag with the totem image on it. So the beginning stage of the drawing process is always very uncertain, and so I'm just working through these super abstract details of the rooftop structures. A lot of the shapes are being kind of foreshortened or squished, so they look kind of unusual compared to our preconceptions. So just kind of keep seeing and following my pencil layout. So when you're sketching a pretty complicated architecture, just feel okay to start with a pencil layout, so you're much more secure and comfortable to move on to drawing those details. And when I'm drawing buildings, I like to start finishing up the rooftop structures first before moving on to the lower details. So here I'm seeing another triangular shape of another little roof structure. This one is bigger, triangle, compared to the one on the very left because it's closer to me. And keep building up these slanting lines. A little tricky, just keep going and embrace all the imperfections that we do as humans. When we're drawing almost like freehand and spontaneously, can't make sure that everything is going to turn out perfect, but we could just keep enjoying the process by making more and more marks on the white page or paper. And I just drew the awning above the entrance, and then the supporting legs of the awning, the little platform with that little mailbox thing with those painted seashells in it, and some shrubs around, and here's the bench beside the shrub. Just keep connecting one shape after another, and I see someone walking across this little alley. It's nice to include people to give a sense of proportions to make this building look even bigger. And I'm adding another shrub here on the left side of the building, and more urban structures that I see, signs and parking lot signs. There's a car here, starting just with the contour outline, the wheels and the windows, and overlappings behind. There's a little forest behind everything. And the rooftops in the distance look much more smaller compared to the rooftop of this main building here. And starting to add some inner details for the left side of the building. This part is kind of foreshortened because I'm seeing this building from a slight perspective. And these wooden planks on the exterior using very quick horizontal lines. So basically, I see this building has multiple vertical chunks of large shapes, and within these large shapes, I see a lot of these simple repetitions of horizontal lines of the wooden planks, which is very typical for an old-fashioned house. And then I see windows behind that, the hanging banner over there, and the window on the first floor, quick horizontal lines, and another quick vertical line that divides this building into another vertical section or chunk. And more windows to add inside the big shape here in the middle. So here I'm actually cheating a little bit. The side of the window here I'm drawing on paper is a little bit smaller, or actually a slightly off proportion compared to the actual scenery. This always happens when I'm drawing freehand, and I just embrace those imperfections and keep drawing. And now I'm starting to fill in these smaller details inside the frame of the awning, of the entrance, and then quickly summarizing this totem imagery here on the hanging banner. There's another hanging banner aligning on the same horizontal level as the one on the left, so just getting this done. This one is slightly bigger than the one on the left because it's actually closer to me. And adding a bit of accentuation of the awning there so it pops up even better. Accentuate the triangular little roofs up there as well, adding some more vertical lines and window frames. Yeah, behind the hanging banner here, I see like a couple windows obstructed by the banner, shading in some of the window panels with solid black ink to give more sense of depth for this building, that there's actually really a space behind the window panels. More vertical and short horizontal lines for the wooden plank exterior, and there's another tall cone-shaped shrub over here, starting with the outline and the swirl, and adding a bit of squiggly textures and more long vertical lines. So I see a lot of repetitions over here in drawing this building, so I have to be even more patient. Alright, and keep adding more abstract details of bushes, shrubs. Yeah, they have a lot of nice gardening stuff surrounding the building, and another skinny little shrub over here on the right side. More vertical lines to frame the large sections of this building. Yeah, it used to be an old schoolhouse. Now it's an art gallery. Yeah, some more quick, very foreshortened windows because I'm seeing this side of the building from an angle. And more first floor windows, shading in some of those blocks with solid black ink. More windows to add on to here, and here on the lower floor, accentuate or shade in some of the window panels, adding these quick horizontal lines for the wooden panel texture. And I'm almost done drawing this building. Just add a bit of accentuation around the eave area there. And now it's time to add some more rooftop details, like the slanting lines, pipes, chimneys, and stuff. There's another section of this building behind, so I'm adding that large chunk behind here, and more slanting shapes down towards the right because of perspective here, and these super foreshortened windows. And keep adding, I think there's a ramp there on the bottom for the wheelchair people to get in, and these residential houses there in the distance on the other side of the field, the lawn here, adding a bit of dark shade underneath the cone-shaped little tree there, the forest way behind, using this super quick, continuous, loose, squiggly outline, and then I see more houses in between the trees. So when I'm doing urban sketching, I always love include a pretty good amount of foliage because I believe nature, it really adds so much more life to a stiff urban sketch with too many vertical and horizontal lines. I love organic shapes, balancing with the those kind of static horizontal and vertical lines. And just drew this SUV car here. This is a really nice side view and more vehicles behind it. And side views, these ones behind are so easy. Just the front part of those cars, and that's it. And railings. And I'm trying to keep the edge of the sketch really loosely done, leaving that truck there on the very right side incomplete. Just leave it for the viewers to imagine the look. Yeah, that's a vehicle, and I don't need to be super detailed with that. My focus is on the building of the old schoolhouse and the landscape behind. So that's my goal of sketching that. Not every single detail needs to be clear. Okay, these quick horizontal lines for the rooftop texture. And yeah, just finishing off the rooftop textures with those quick horizontal lines, adding final bit of shading, especially on the bottom of this building to give this house more weight. So just shaded the bottom of that shrub over there, final bit of accentuation and details that I forgot before. And just spending a few more seconds adding the last bit of details that I think is a little bit more essential before calling the line work done. Yeah, there's another definition of a house there. That's it. Now it's time to move on to painting watercolors. And the beginning of this painting process is going to be a little slower, okay? It's going to be just 2 times faster than my actual drawing speed. So I just wetted the sky area with clear water, so it's easy for me to get this wet onto wet, slight bit of blooming of the diluted cerulean blue done using a little choppy brushstrokes, connecting all the brushstrokes together into these about 3 strands of sky breaking through the clouds. And also playing with water control. So I have different levels of values of this cerulean blue, creating a really fluid, fresh blue of the opening sky after a rainy day. Finally, the weather is getting better. And now I'm going to switch to a very different color. So I just cleaned my brush on the towel and just grabbing a little bit of lemon yellow, diluted with a lot of water, adding this yellow glaze for the white clouds because the sun is coming out, the sunlight is pushing through the clouds, so that's why all of these white clouds are stained with the golden color of the sunshine. Now wet onto wet, a little bit of cobalt blue to suggest the folds and the shaded areas of the large clouds, especially on the bottom. So for most situations, the darkest shade is actually usually on the middle or the bottom of each piece of cloud. Playing with water control, so you can see here I'm creating different levels of values of this cobalt blue, and also using brushstrokes in different directions, creating various folds for these clouds floating above the forest, adding so much more drama to this seemingly static scenery here. So I'm so glad that the weather is getting better and the sky is looking much more interesting compared to before. And we can see and sense so much more levels of gradients when looking at clouds from real life observation compared to working from photos. I found, working from photos gives me, a lot of limits of seeing. So I have to be there to really see the values and the definitions of things. Yeah, just keep playing, adding more subtle grays. So this color is cobalt blue with a little bit of royal purple mixed in, adding some more delicate folds for these clouds using my medium tip water brush. So before I was using my large tip and juicy water brush, this one. The medium tip is able to create more delicate brushstrokes like these, and following the movement, the rhythm of these cloud folds. Adding some more above the rooftop of the old schoolhouse. And playing with mostly light to medium shades of cobalt blue and cobalt blue with royal purple mix, because the weather is getting better. These clouds are not stormy clouds, so yep, when you're painting sunny day clouds like this, try to keep your shades of gray light to medium values. When I'm painting a landscape, especially a sky full of movement and transition, very much every second, I'm always changing my mind. So now I want to add an even more saturated cerulean blue for this large gap in between the clouds, just so the sky is looking even more compelling. Yeah, this one is cerulean blue still, but being much more bold than before. Mixing less water and more paint pigment. Yeah, just love this grand opening of the sunny day sky. So the sky is actually a gigantic dome shape, not just a flat cardboard backdrop behind the buildings and the forest. It's a gigantic dome shape, and all of these clouds and the sky, the air and the sky is moving in diagonal movements, in diagonal shapes, following or wrapping that dome shape. Now I'm adding some retouches of blue purplish grays around the bottom for higher contrast. Alright, I think that's it for the sky area. I'm pretty happy with it. Now it's time to move on before overworking it. Now I'm just adding this really vibrant and attractive lemon yellow mixed with a little bit of yellow ochre for the first layer of this old schoolhouse. And also a tiny bit of orange because I see transitions of yellow, a slight bit of yellow-orange values. A flat surface is never just a singular flat value of that same colors. There's always slight bit of transitions of darker shade underneath the roofs over here for the top part. As you can see, I'm adding a little bit more orange. And orange brown for the chimney there. Diluted orange brown for the first layer of the rooftop. And using that leftover brown for some of the roofs in the distance, starting to punch on the lightest value of green, yellow green, that I'm playing around with various ratios of lime green and lemon yellow, and also yellow ochre. Wet onto wet, hooker's green. So when working with watercolors, if you want to inject more personal expressions into your painting, you have to work fast and really be not afraid of the wet onto wet technique. The merging of several colors or the same color of different values controlled by water. Okay, now let the forest area to dry off a little bit. Just wet it the ground area with a little clear water, punching on a bit of burnt sienna mixed with raw umber, super diluted, because the value of the street is not that strong. And first layer for these shrubs. So you can mix lemon yellow or yellow ochre into any kind of green to get your own interesting type of yellow green for the first layer of your foliage. And adding some retouches of yellow for the exterior of the building here. Grabbing some leftover cobalt blue and purple mix for these windows. Windows during daytime, they usually have this very intense dark tone. Second layer burnt sienna and a tiny bit of raw umber. Using horizontal brush marks for the texture of the roof, and a little bit of cobalt blue for certain areas, not catching a lot of sunshine. It could be a little tricky to see the contrast on a very cloudy day, so I'm trying to add or accentuate higher contrast for the rooftop area by glazing on a little bit of cobalt blue. I think the sun is on the left side, so the right side of these rooftop 3D shapes are more shaded. And gradually adding a little bit more contrast for these shrubs in front of the building. So this is hooker's green with a little bit of lime green mixed in, at the same time containing less water compared to the first layer, using brush strokes and not covering every single area of the first layer. Some more contrast, adding hooker's green. Hooker's green with a little bit of burnt sienna for the slightly darker shade of green on the bottom. Yeah, so for tree canopies and shrubs, depending on the lighting condition, it could be either on the left or on the right. Most time it could be on the bottom. And some more stronger shades of green here and there. Yeah, this is a really nice dark shade of green, organic looking. And this is how I am adding contrast for the forest behind, because it's just after the rain. There's a lot of moisture in the air. The bottom of the forest is kind of hanging with a bit of a misty effect. So I'm just leaving the bottom of the forest pretty much untouched of the shade of green just to create a foggy kind of effect from my sensation. And grabbing some burnt sienna to paint those little rooftops in between the trees. And now I am mixing my own gray with cobalt blue, a little bit of royal purple, and a little bit of green to paint the awnings and the banners hanging around the windows, and also some of the gray areas that I see in the landscape behind. Yeah, using the same gray to shade a little bit of this yellow building. And I understand that for most of us, it's really tricky to shade something yellow, right? So yeah, I'm gonna continue push for more contrast for the yellow building. So now I just shaded the lawn area with a medium dark green underneath the shrubs. And now grabbing a little bit of leftover blue purple to gradually shade, or actually glaze. This is wet onto dry. The yellow is all dried. So now as I'm adding this bluish gray, super diluted with a lot of water, the yellow is staying very calm and not so much disturbed. Just a very gentle blue purplish shade underneath the eaves, and also shaded the underneath the car. Yeah, most of the cars over there are actually gray or white or black. Continuing using the leftover blue purplish gray to shade the houses in distance. And the shadow, a very gentle shadow of the old schoolhouse here on the right side. And a little bit of a super diluted gray for the color of the street. And quickly mixing skin color using orange and red diluted with a lot of water to paint this person's skin. Cobalt blue for his shorts. And then mix even more burnt sienna into hooker's green to create this the deepest green shade, which is so important. We need to be always bold and be brave to push for the highest contrast. Yeah, for these greeneries. Yeah, a bit more gentle shading using super diluted bluish purple. And I think that's very much it. Just another quick layer of gray for the awning there. That's it. Here's the look of my finished sketch. It took me about 1 hour, 10 minutes to sketch and film this on location. So thank you so much for watching this video, everyone. If you like it, please click like and leave me a comment below. Subscribe to my channel for weekly updates. And thank you so much to Qualicum Beach Town, to the donors of this bench. Thank you for letting me to sit here and do the sketch. And after that, we went into the old schoolhouse to see some nice paintings on the walls. Yeah, these are very nice impressionistic style modern paintings of landscapes. Stay tuned for my next video. So after sketching the old schoolhouse, I went to have a cup of coffee and a little cookie at Chilham Village, somewhere still around Qualicum Beach Town Center. Have a lovely weekend, everyone. See you again very soon in the next couple of days. Bye!